Yeah, I'm there. Yeah. Yeah, man, I can hear it. I can hear it. No. No. Yeah. Tristan, did you share the logo? Yep.
Mic check, mic check, mic check, mic check. Yeah, man, bless up everybody. Bless up, bless up, bless up, bless up. Yeah, Carlos, you here?
Yeah, man, I can hear you clearly, bro. Clearly.
Say something again, Carlos.
Yeah, I can hear you clearly. Clear.
All right, perfect, perfect. So I think the audio is okay, both on my part and your part as well. So, all right. So let's kick it off. All right. So I want to say welcome to everybody that's here. Give yourselves a round of applause. This is somewhat short notice, but we'll try to make sure, we get back to that level of consistency that we were at in the past. So the format is going to be changed a bit. We're still working out the kinks. Happy for everybody that is on the live right now, and happy for everybody that's gonna watch the rerun. All the best. It doesn't matter as long as you come by, check it out, leave a comment, leave a like, and share, subscribe if you've never been to this channel before. For those who don't know, this channel, it's a plethora of different types of entertainment. We have music on here, but we also have topics that we go over live and pre-recorded, um, dealing with music and music entertainment. We talk industry, we talk business, finance, we talk politics, social media, everything. I mean, comedy, everything. It's just a safe place for people to come, vibe out, have intellectual conversations, um, and just be able to express themselves. So we have on the line right now, Carlos. What's up, Carlos?
Yeah, bro, it's been a minute, you know. I'm glad that you actually decided to get back on the ground with this thing because the people have been asking, where is the life? Where is the life? But as I said, sometimes you have to just get back to the drawing board and reorganize. And here we are, just
Abs-
gonna.
Absolutely. And I mean, we always have a lot of good stuff to talk about. We might not have the time all the time, because there's a lot of stuff we're trying to juggle. But you know, it comes a time when you reset, repivot, and what I mean, come back with a fresh new look, a fresh new sound, and fresh new things to talk about, as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Because I mean, especially these days, Tristan, there's been like so many things going on around right now, where like people are actually like giving their 2 cents, and it's not like we missed out, because at the end of the day, I mean, no matter how long ago a topic has been in the air, I think that we can always give our 2 cents towards it, based on what you said, and it end of the day, it's just whatever we have to say is just gonna be our opinion. So
Right. No, definitely, definitely. All right. So, without further ado, this is kind of like the pilot to the new season. I would like to think, right? Last year was season one, I guess, and this is season two.
The Lord said, oh,
season
did
two,
and we shall
season two,
Season few, we're not going season no two. You understand? Born after that, you understand? Yeah, man. So yeah, this is season few. This is the second season, and I guess you could say we're gonna come back bigger and better with a lot more, ideas and a lot more intriguing topics. So, yeah, let's begin. So, Carlos, uh, have you been active on social media? Not necessarily posting, but just seeing what's going on lately. Let's say since the past week or two.
let me say this. I'm always on social media, by the way. Always like everything that's going on. I actually know about it, But sometimes I might not necessarily be the person who will comment or post, but I know what's going on, man. Honestly, there's so many things. Tristan, you know as well. Yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure, for sure. But lately, there's been a lot of, oh my gosh, there's been a lot of hot topics going around lately. There's so many of them, they've passed and gone. Um, we might not be able to talk about all of them, but we can touch on whatever, and thing. You know what I mean? But one of the smoking topics right now, in Jamaica, that's trending has to do with politics. You know what I mean? This one is red hot right now. We're hearing everything from people from one side having their agreement and people from other side having their disagreement. And some people, they don't necessarily have a side, but they look at this as a big distraction, from the main issues at hand. So, we're here to discuss it, hash it out, and delve into how this came about, why it came about, and how it's going right now, as well as how do you think this will be resolved, right? So let's talk. Let's talk about it. So the first topic is actually about um, Mark Golding's citizenship controversy that's going on right now. Marky G, as some people may know him affectionately. So I believe this year is actually the election year for Jamaica. Am I right, Carlos?
Well, I am guessing that basically right now Andrew might not necessarily call election this year. He might just call it next year because the way of politics is, like in these times, whenever the opposing party has the upper hand or there is a lot seems to be like things not going in their direction, then the ruling party will tend to want to call the election in the following year when they have an advantage. So it could be a case where they call the election this year as well as they could call it next year. But we're up for election now. Just to answer the question.
Okay, so one of the things I've been noticing, and I was just in Jamaica a few weeks ago, when it comes to these times when it's election time, one of the things that I notice is that certain things that never used to be done, all of a sudden you find out that these things are being done very speedily. Certain roads that used to have potholes for like 4 years, all of a sudden there's a plethora of guys working to patch the road. Places that never used to have constant steady water, now they have water in their pipes 24/7, and all these things. It's it's kind of funny, you know. I mean, you can tell that it's drawing close to election time because you actually see certain constituencies having somewhat of an improvement going on in the overall infrastructure and public service, if you will.
Well, Tristan, like from ever since I've been growing up as a child and as an adult, I don't know. I don't think I've seen any changes in the sense of how they react whenever it comes to an election year. Because right now, as you can see, there's a lot of temporary rearrangement in light of the election. And I guess the reason why these politicians are actually doing these things is because they want to let it seem in the eyes of the voters or the general public that we are doing something right now. So this is the time that you can come and vote because we're showing you what we about to do and what we can do. But I've yet to see these things continue when the so-called person who's trying to convince those voters to vote for them actually get in the office. They actually change. So like these things have been going on forever, and this election year is no different. I just hope like whoever the next ruling party is, like I just hope that it could be a case where I mean, even they cannot deliver everything that they promise, but at least we can see some changes in the way they actually deal with job creations and so many things in the country which are at the forefront, you know. I mean, it doesn't make any sense like you do some things whenever it comes to an election, and then when you whoever win, then everything is being swept under the carpet, you know, because at the end of the day, we the people, I'm a Jamaicans, we the people at least want to hold you accountable for whatever you promise, you know, so that at the end of the day we know that I mean we have an expectation and you deliver, and we know that you're going to turn the country in the right direction. Granted, though, I know that to run a country it's a very hard task, but at the end of the day, I know everything that has been done is not necessarily the prime minister. They have advisors and they have the different departments and people who are different aspect of the government. So I think I mean they have support. So I just think I just want to ensure that whatever they promise it's been done. That's just my always my take whenever it comes to that. Because you know what I realize that most of these politicians or most of these I think they really don't think about the next generation, you know, Tristan. They always think about the next election.
Right.
So I hope this is not this time around though.
Right. I mean, yeah, it's just a never-ending story, you know. I mean, we
Yeah.
could go on and on. You know, at the end of the day, if you don't understand politics and how it works, you know, it will stress you out. You understand? So,
Yeah.
you know, it's a lot of things aren't the way they're supposed to be, you know. But at the end of the day, one of the important thing is to do is to make sure you have mind over matter because um you know you really can't rely on a lot of these guys that are in power. Sometimes they might do things that benefit the people, But at the end of the day, I mean, if you understand politics and how it works, it's all about the people that are basically donating, and lobbying. They are the ones that these policies benefit more than the common person, I mean, in general. So, you know, money make money at the end of the day. But all right, let's move into the topic at hand, right? So a few days ago or a week, it's about sometime within a week ago, right? Um, uh, Prime Minister Andrew Holness um, went on, I believe it's Smile Jamaica. I'm not sure if you saw that video clip. And he spoke about the opposition leader, Mark Golding, not, but being a dual citizen, meaning that he is a citizen of Jamaica as well as he is a British citizen. And he questioned um, Mark Golding's loyalty to Jamaica by him having a dual citizenship. I'm not going to quote him word for word because I don't remember word for word. I'm just going to summarize what I got from what he's saying. So, from what I understand, his argument is that um, Mark Golding cannot be loyal or have loyalty for Jamaica by having both a Jamaican citizenship and a British citizenship. Only because that British citizenship is always a scapegoat or that parachute that he can land with if for lack of a better word, if the shit hits the fan, right? So he's saying that for someone to lead the country, they should have only one citizenship, and it's that of the country which they are leading. And if it's a case to where they do have another citizenship, they need to renounce that citizenship in order to show their loyalty for the country. What say you, Carlos?
All right. Before I actually answer the question, my take on this, Tristan, let me hope that this talk about dual citizenship, even though I totally agree with the fact that if you're gonna be in office, as long as once you have a dual citizenship, then I believe that you should renounce that the citizen for the other country. But the thing is that I just hope that they're not using this dual citizenship argument as a scapegoat to divert from the realities that we're facing in the country. You know, because at the end of the day, I know that there are bigger issues at hand that needs to be dealt with. But now, when it comes down to Mark Golding having a dual citizenship, um, it's a concern. But then we have to look at it like this: he has a dual citizenship, and the other country that he's a citizen of, which is the United Kingdom, that country is also a part of the Commonwealth. Now, based on my knowledge and what I've learned, is that once you're a citizen of a Commonwealth nation, then it is legal for you to serve in the Jamaican Parliament. Now, on the other hand, if you was a citizen of the United States, which is not a member of the Commonwealth, then it will be illegal for him to serve in the Commonwealth. Then automatically he wouldn't even need the public to tell him to renounce citizenship for America. He would have to do that. Just as in the case of Daryl Vaz and some other guys back in the days who had a dual citizenship. So the argument about if Mark Golding is not loyal to his country, given the fact that he has a dual citizenship. I think so as if he decide that he want to run in office and be the Prime Minister of Jamaica and everything, I mean, it is within his interest if he wants to give up his citizenship. So as long as he knows that he's gonna serve the country wholeheartedly and not run. But I can see what Andrew Owens is saying. He's saying that basically if you're gonna run Jamaica and you have a dual citizenship, then basically it's just another avenue through which you can you can escape the rift that Jamaica faced in the event that things does not work out for you. But in the grand scheme of things, though, I really don't think that he should necessarily have to give up his dual citizenship, given the fact that the United Kingdom is a part of the Commonwealth, and that does not necessarily force him to relinquish that citizenship for that particular country. But overall, as I said before, Tristan, I just hope that they're not trying to use this to divert from the reality that we're facing, you know. But I don't think that he necessarily have to give up his citizenship just because of the Commonwealth factor that surrounds the entire issue.
Right. Well, I can tell you this. Whether it's the only reason or it's a reason among others, this indeed is a tactic used by Prime Minister Andrew Holness, and it's a quite um, clever tactic as well. I think it's working very well, regardless of how it may end up turning out. Whether Mr. Mark Golding gives up renounces his British citizenship or not, I think that this tactic that Prime Minister Andrew Holness used is working well because it's trending on social media and there's a lot of people talking about it, a lot of people having certain opinions on it, and thus we're talking about it right now, right? So I definitely think it's a tactic. Now, whether Andrew Holness is only using it as a tactic or if he actually truly feels that way in his heart and in his soul, I don't know. I mean, that's a question I would have to ask him personally. If or I couldn't even I wouldn't even ask him because I don't know if I would get the right answer. Um, but I have a question. What do you say? What do you say to people that are like, okay, well, I get that he is a part of the Commonwealth, so technically he doesn't have to give up his citizenship for this British citizenship, right? However, since Jamaica is moving towards that republic status and both parties kind of agree that that's where we want to head to, um, don't you think it would probably be in his best interest to give it up, since it would kind of go into the direction of where we want to head as a country to be a republic?
Well, to be honest, Tristan, you see, I mean, I get it, they're trying to be a republic nation, but at the end of the day, though, I just think Mark Golan understand that that's the direction that Jamaica is heading towards, and and I cannot get into his mind, but I can almost imagine that he must be thinking that, like, the moment Jamaica head to a public republic, then in that sense he will have to give up he has no other choice but to give up his citizenship. But I think really though, like that, I mean, it's really a matter of choice, Tristan. It's really a matter of choice until we get there. Because even though the talk about we getting to become a republic nation, I've been hearing those talk from us ever since I was growing up, you know. And I'm not gonna say we will never get there, but I just think until we get there, because as it stands, we're still a Commonwealth nation. So until we get there to the point where you being someone who's elected in office, having a citizenship of a Commonwealth nation and having a citizenship in Jamaica, then in that regards, you will definitely have to give up your citizenship. But as of right now, I just think that the way it stands right now, it does not necessarily affect the choice that he makes of not wanting to give up his citizenship. So I just think until we get there, because I just think like this, as I said before, this talk about like the whole him having a British citizenship, it's just a strong man policy in this whole political arena right now, because they're just trying to create this drama and to say, all right, you know what, we're gonna talk about this so we can get everyone attention to say, all right, he's not loyal to his country. And don't get me wrong, if it was Andrew Holness who was in the same predicament, I would say the same thing. I'm not even trying to to show that I'm just showing preference right now. This
No,
give
no,
yeah, yeah,
no. You agree with what you agree. It doesn't matter. I
yeah,
mean, it doesn't
yeah,
matter even if you have a preference. Like how you think, what you think about the situation is what you think. You know what I mean? That's just your opinion. You know?
yeah.
Yeah.
For me right now, I'm just like giving my opinion. Whoever could be in a situation right now, that's the same thing that I would be saying right now. I was thinking like this is not with at this current time in Jamaica right now, where there are so many other issues at hand and so many other things that need to get focused. I mean, you could say it's a clever move by Andrew Wollens Tristan to try to get the
Yeah.
people's attention. All right, you know what? He's disloyal to his country. We cannot have him being the Prime Minister of Jamaica because you know what? How can he be the Prime Minister of Jamaica with a dual citizenship? He has to give up one if you're gonna serve. You know?
You can tell that Andrew had that one holding to release at the right opportune time. You understand? Because Mark Golden is literally um, doing a PR cleanup on every media platform possible right now. You know what I mean?
And you know what? You know what? I think I heard that like the person would say actually reveal this information about Andrew about Mark Golden is Daryl Vaz. So interested though, because
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah,
kind of
so yeah, expound on that. Let me hear what's going
yeah,
on.
I kind of find it a bit interesting, but then again, it's all a political game, because tell you what, back in the days when Daryl Vaz, they found out that he had a dual citizenship. He has to give up his citizenship for in America, right?
Right.
So now this time around, right, and got on Golden have a dual citizenship, and Daryl Vaz is the person who is spilling the beans right now. I mean, to me, I find it laughable, because at the end of the day, I mean, they go say, all right, back in the days, that's what they did to me, so now I'm gonna spill beans right now. So I mean, I don't think I would not necessarily look at it as like, I know it's a bad thing that he's doing. It's just all in the name of politics, like
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, we are the ruling party. They are coming at us. We're gonna find something to let the people know that we don't want this party to be in power because they are disloyal. They're not gonna do a good job. So anything that they can do to tear down the opposition and rip them apart, so that they don't, so that they will lose the people's interest. They will do it. So I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. I think I keep hearing this argument that they say that Daryl Vaz he breached something by getting those information about golden illegally. I cannot speak wholeheartedly about that because I
right.
don't know, but it could be public knowledge. Trust me, it could be public knowledge because um once I think when it comes to politics, like the information is always going to be out there about a politician. Like, come on, like somebody like Mark Golden, I think it must be out here that he has a dual citizenship. Regardless if Daryl Vaz go to the extent to find out that information. I don't think nothing is necessarily wrong with that.
Well,
But
go ahead.
but Tristan, you know what? I remember. You see what Andrew Wallace is doing right now. Kind of remind me of something that I see Donald Trump did when Barack Obama was in office. He says that Barack Obama he's probably didn't born in America. I think there was. So I think I see like Andrew Wallace trying to replicate that tactics, trying to use it to his advantage. So I mean, I kind of do some similarity, in that. So and he's working for yeah,
I mean that always works because
yeah,
people people of the country are going to want to feel more comfortable knowing that. Look, I'll be honest. Look, that's like a wicked tactic by Andrew Holness and I guess that you could say the JLP party, but I'll be honest, bro. I don't think Mark Golding. I guess per how the constitution is set up or the legislation is set up, um, I guess he doesn't. I don't know for sure, but it sounds like he doesn't. I mean, nothing's stopping him from running with a dual citizenship, right?
no,
However, I mean, me personally, putting myself as a citizen of Jamaica living there, I think I would feel more comfortable if he just renounces it and say, okay, well, is this the problem? All right, I'll renounce it, as I'm for Jamaica, and Jamaica land we love, and I'm a patriot. You understand? I would
yeah,
feel more comfortable to see him do that, but it might be an ego thing to where he's like he doesn't want to do it just because it turned into a scandal caused by the opposing party. You understand?
Yes. But Tristan, like I believe I heard him saying that he will renounce his British citizenship and if the people um push them to do so. So I'm thinking he's possibly considering that right now as we speak. And I believe like a year ago he also said something like that. That he
Yeah,
would yeah. So
I did see him say it was an interview on the Fix. I saw a
yes,
clip where he did say something like that, and
yes.
apparently he was explaining that it's a convenient thing to have whenever he's traveling and things of that nature. It's very convenient to have. But I mean, I thought that and tell me if I'm wrong. I thought that you know public servants like in that capacity, like members of parliament, I didn't think that they had any problem traveling anywhere. I mean, even though they're carrying a Jamaican passport, and it's not as powerful. It's not the most powerful passport in the world, but as a public servant in that capacity, you would think that. I mean, his passport. I don't know. Do they have different? Do they have the same passport as everybody, or are they kind of considered like diplomats in a sense?
Honestly, I always think that they actually have a diplomatic passport, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong, but I mean, I think I see where Mark Golden is coming from, because remember back then, it's not like they were the ruling party, so I mean, he used that passport as I said as a matter of convenience. So I mean, at the time, I mean, it was convenient for him, but now, I mean, in this case, I mean, he can give it up because worse if he become the prime minister of Jamaica, he will not necessarily need a British passport for that move around. So,
I think if look if Mark Golding wants to pull the ultimate checkmate, give up the British citizenship, because I don't think that Andrew Holness and the JLP are expecting him to give it up. I think that they're just using it against. I don't think they want him to give it up, to be honest with you, because as long as he doesn't give it up, they always have it to use and dangle over his head, and use it as a talking point, right? So I think the ultimate checkmate for him is to give it up and publicize that he gives it up, and then find something on the other side to hold against them so that they can sacrifice something as well. I think that would be the ultimate checkmate. I think that he would look like the real patriot if he gives it up and takes it and spills it over in social media and all the blogs and everything like that. You know what I mean?
so like of course, you see, but as I said, I think Mark Gola will continue to fight this battle as long as he can until he find something to pick on the Jamaica Labour Party with, because as I said, this is all a political game, and trust me, by the next month or next week, you probably hear something new coming out that they have against the Jamaica Labour Party and vice versa, because they're trying to convince the people right now that what this is a party that you should select. Don't select the People's National Party, or the People's National Party saying do not select the Jamaica National Party. So this is a very interesting time in politics, just and where and like you see a lot of beans are being spilled, and the one I guess the one that can spill the most beans and let the other party look very like demeaning or not so trusting, then they will eventually get the upper hand and get by getting votes and get people to believe more in them. So this is what they're fighting for right now. Let us see who will win though. It's gonna be interesting, Yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
very interesting. All right, so let's progress. I found a clip on I think it's from TVJ's Smile Jamaica morning show, right? And this is Mark Golding, I guess discussing the whole issue about the dual citizenship thing. So I'm gonna play it, not the video but the audio. I might have to skip through a couple things, but just let me know if you're not hearing anything. All right?
yeah.
All right, let's go.
Given what has happened within the last day. Yeah, well, this kind of firestorm that has arisen in the last 2 days, really, I see as a distraction from the issues that are confronting the country now. The issues relating to the constitutional reform process, which has been a process which many people feel has not been inclusive, has not been participatory, and has left a lot of people feeling frustrated and excluded. Plus, the cost of living issues facing Jamaicans, the crime rate, and the lack of hope in our people. So it's not surprising to me that our political competitors are seeking to generate distractions around these issues. And I think that's what this is. So yes, I'm a born Jamaican. I was born at University Hospital, 1965. I grew up in Jamaica. I went to school here, Mona Prep, Campion College. I studied abroad. And I came back right after, went to Norman Manley Law School and did 2 years there. Got a Commonwealth scholarship, did a master's degree in law in the UK, came back right after, and I've never worked anywhere other than Jamaica. So my entire working life and my childhood were here. So yeah, I'm a born Jamaican. I do have British citizenship as well, by descent. My father came to Jamaica in 1953 from the UK, and he spent the rest of his career and died here. He's buried on Slipe Road. So, you know, he was a person who gave a lot to this country. Started the Mona Rehab Center. He was in charge of the medical response to the polio epidemic in the 1950s. Yeah. The Kendall train crash, he was sent there to deal with the aftermath of that terrible incident and establish a National Road Safety Council, Hope Valley Experimental School, all of these things. My mother was a career public servant. She was one of the first 3 ladies, I believe, to join the civil service in Jamaica in an administrative position. And later on, after she got married and had children, she moved to the rehab center and spent the rest of her career there. So I'm very committed to Jamaica fully. You know, my entire life is about Jamaica. And so this whole thing is a bit peculiar. Truth is, the constitution of the country from 1962 to now allows, in fact requires, Commonwealth citizenship to be eligible to be in our parliament. The UK and Jamaica are both part of the Commonwealth. So my presence in the parliament is in accordance with the constitution, is lawful, and that's why I've never really thought of this as a big issue.
I think that's where the confusion rests, Mark Golding, because we have heard people say, oh, but the PNP has called for other people to denounce their citizenship. But you're saying the UK is a Commonwealth, but not the US.
Correct. So the Commonwealth are nation.
Yeah, are you here, Carlos?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, you're following what's going on, all right?
Yeah,
All
I
right.
did.
All right.
Who were largely former colonies of the UK, but the US is not included in that. They have never been a member of the Commonwealth. So there was an instance in 2007 when a number of candidates were, in fact, not eligible to be in Parliament because they had citizenship from countries that were not in the Commonwealth. And those matters were taken to court, and the court made its ruling.
They were booted from Parliament. They had to come back in.
They had to by-elections
right?
that were held,
Okay.
correct? Some of them, I think they renounced their citizenship in order to be eligible.
Right.
And that happened. But there are a number of people in Parliament who are Commonwealth citizens. I'm not the only one. So, you know, I don't see why this is a big issue, but it's obviously being used as a way of trying to attack me personally.
So you don't think there's any validation at all to the issue? Because you mentioned the issue of the CCJ and constitutional reform, which is another area where there's deadlock that I want to ask you about. But one of your statements is that the CCJ, being Jamaica's final appellate court, it can be a case where we have 1 foot, this is your direct quote, 1 foot in, 1 foot out of King Charles's yard.
Right.
Is there a parallel between that statement and what folks are saying now about your dual citizenship?
That is a really good question. You following what's going on?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, what's her name again? I can't remember her name, but that's a good question.
Yes.
Citizenship.
Well-
And so is it therefore fair for you to categorize it as a mere distraction?
1 foot in and 1 foot out refers to the idea of leaving the monarchy but not leaving it. In other words, Jamaica becoming a republic but still having as one of our institutions of government at the highest level the Privy Council, which is the King's Court. When you take a case to the Privy Council and the order is made by the court there, it's made in the King's name. And I'm saying, and the PNP has been saying for decades, let's fully decolonize, stand up on our own 2 feet as a proud nation, and move forward together. So in terms of the dual citizenship rule, the Constitution allows, as I've said, Commonwealth citizens to be in the Parliament. And I've always regarded it as important to comply with the Constitution and the laws of Jamaica. So we're going through a process of reform now. If this matter is debated, and the Jamaican people feel strongly that the Prime Minister and the Leader of the Opposition, as 2 individuals, should not have dual citizenship, I would take the necessary steps to relinquish that status, you know. But as it stands now...
But if folks ask you why wait?
He doesn't seem very, I don't know, he doesn't seem very sure about that. I would like to think that no one would want to reduce their citizenship just to one. I think everybody would want to be able to have both citizenship, you know what I mean? But I just don't see it happening if Jamaica ends up being a republic. It's just I just think it doesn't make it. I don't think any of the leaders should have it in that case, you know what I mean?
Until that time, because the notion that the PM raised yesterday is a matter of the ultimate executive leader not being perceived, or not the Constitution says, but you know, perception being oftentimes the reality and the lens through which people view things, the perception of split loyalties, the perception of having 2 masters. The PM said, you know, be our parachute if anything goes wrong. You know, it needs to be clear that you have no other loyalty.
Well, first of all, the PM is not really in a position to say that, because the PM has sworn allegiance to the King. In 2021, he joined the King's Privy Council voluntarily and would have had to swear an oath or affirm an oath of loyalty to the King. That was a couple of years before he suddenly came on the train about decolonization and becoming a republic. So he's a flip-flopper on this issue. In my case, my life is one of service.
Rebuttal.
To the people of Jamaica. Certainly in the latter part of my life. Before that, I was in the private sector. But since 2007, when I became a senator, and more importantly, since 2012, when I became part of the government as Minister of Justice and now as Leader of the Opposition, my life is one of service. And I think it's unequivocal that my commitment to Jamaica cannot be questioned. And indeed, this has never arisen in the past, you know, where we've had people in Parliament who've had dual citizenship because they're Commonwealth citizens, and the question of their loyalty to the country has never been questioned. So from my standpoint, I think it shouldn't be a situation where the Prime Minister dictates what the Constitution should say. And he can't do that. You know, it's a question of dialogue, consultation, and let us discuss the issue. And if whatever comes out of that process, I will abide by. But as far as I'm concerned, it's part of who I am. You know, being my father's son is who I am. You know, Barack Obama was the son of a Kenyan. He didn't have to go through any procedure to renounce his Kenyanship. You know, he became the President of the United States. Similarly, I'm born here, I grew here. Yes, I have this status by virtue of who my father was. But why should I be required, when the law doesn't and the Constitution doesn't require it, to change my status? Nobody else has ever been asked to do that.
I think the point that he's making about Barack Obama, I don't think that's a good point, because to my knowledge, I don't think Barack Obama had a Kenyan passport. You understand what I'm saying? He has a British passport, so he can travel on a British passport. So, you know, I understand that stuff. I understand what he's saying with all the other points and the rebuttals. He made a couple good rebuttals to, you know, stick a dagger back at Andrew Holness, but I don't agree with the Barack Obama point. But you know, I'll let him cook.
You know what? Passport, Margolina, when you travel to the UK, do you use your UK citizenship, or do you go and get a visa like the rest of us?
I travel on a Jamaican passport whenever I travel nowadays. Since I came into government in 2012, 12, I decided I was not going to use the UK passport, and I've maintained that. I have a diplomatic passport as a minister, and then as a leader of the opposition, I got one again. I have a UK visa in my Jamaican diplomatic passport. I was in the UK 2 years ago for a tour. I went up on that visa. I had to apply for it. I had to go to the office here and go through all the biometrics like everybody else and what have you. So I have a US visa in my Jamaican passport. I have a 10-year visa as well, and in my diplomatic passport. So I travel on my Jamaican. And in fact, I'm not intending to renew my UK passport. It expires this year. I don't use it. I haven't been using it for.
Honestly, I understand why nobody would want to denounce their British citizenship. You understand? Because if you really think about it, when you're a British citizen, you just fly, go most countries without any visas or anything like that. You book your ticket, you fly. You don't have to worry about that. Now you gotta go back to the process of having to renew this and renew that for all these different countries, even though it's a diplomat passport. It has to be sort of inconvenient, in my opinion. And I understand why nobody that would want to renounce their British citizenship, likewise if it was an American citizenship. You follow?
Yeah, I mean, trust me, I wouldn't want to give it up either. So I can't. That's why sometimes when they keep beating him about giving up his UK citizenship, I kind of see where it's coming from. But one thing though with Mark, Tristan, this guy, you see, he knows the law. Trust me, this guy knows the law because he's a lawyer by profession. A lot of those laws, he helped create them. So whatever he's saying, you say it's a good rebuttal or it's a good comeback. But I think as far as he knows, and he believes everything that he's doing within the laws of the Constitution and based on the laws of the Constitution, once you are a citizen of a Commonwealth nation, then you don't necessarily have to give up that citizenship. And I think he bounds by that by that law, and he wholeheartedly believes that he doesn't necessarily have to give up his citizenship based on that stipulation. So I mean, I just think it's just a political game overall. But I mean, in the grand scheme of things, though, just to show is the people that, you know what, I want to be a leader. I want to be a prime minister. You can't just do the honorable thing and give it up. I mean,
yeah, I mean, he might as well just give it up, because if he's traveling right now, if he's traveling everywhere on his Jamaican passport, having to go through all those processes, he might as well give it up. That's what I'm saying. That ultimate checkmate move would be to renounce his citizenship, since he's not using it anyways, right? I mean, then what purpose does it have besides if, let's say, it's just a parachute? Then that's the only purpose it serves, because if he's not traveling with it, then it's just a parachute when the shit hits the fan,
Yeah. Just to play devil's advocate though, I'm wondering though if it was Andrew Holness who was in that predicament, though, what would have been his argument? It's kind of interesting. Like, I wonder what.
I'm sure he would have found an argument.
Yeah.
I'm sure these guys are very clever. You understand? I mean, not all of them. They're smart too, You know what I mean? But not everybody is smart. A lot of people aren't smart. They're just clever. It's two different things.
Yeah.
But let's progress.
For a long time, and I have no need for it, and I plan to give it up. So that's where I stand on that issue.
It's hard to speak in hypotheticals. I'm just wondering, it's hard to speak in hypotheticals, but were the shoe on the other foot? If this were the Prime Minister who was in this situation, how do you think you would view it?
I don't know. I'm not in that. Yeah, I don't want to speculate on that.
But would you be able to understand the concern?
I believe in the rule of law.
Yeah.
And, I think that it's unreasonable to expect people to do things that are contrary to their legal rights. Now, this is something I'm going to pray on and, I'm going to continue to reflect on. But, from my standpoint, I feel it's an imposition by him to be demanding that I do something which the Constitution doesn't require and which there's been no public debate about. I get a lot of people telling me, don't give it up. a lot of members of the public saying, don't succumb to this kind of pressure, which is politically motivated. Your status is in accordance with the Constitution. Your father was a person my father got the Order of Jamaica. It's the highest honor that a non-Jamaican can get. He was loved in this country, and he served this country well, and I feel proud of him, and the heritage I got from him is part of who I am. So, it's a big deal for me to be told that, notwithstanding that the law says and the Constitution says my status is legitimate and fine, I must give up that part of.
Lots are telling you do. Lots are telling you don't.
Yeah, other people, but if it's
you too. Others advising you to give it up?
I would say a few people, like people in the papers and so on, the commentators and what have you. And I said, I'm going to continue, because to me, the passport is really the only issue. I never applied for British citizenship, I've never signed any application form for it. I got a passport when I was a little child. My dad arranged that. And, over the years, I've continued to have it. But I don't use it now. And for me, it was a travel document that was convenient. I'm quite willing to give it up because I haven't been using it, as I've said, for many years now. And this whole question of renouncing, that status is something I've never considered before. And I'm going to think about it. But my initial position on it is I think it's an unreasonable request, given the current constitution that we have. But, it's something that I'm prepared to consider going forward. And whatever, certainly, if we go through the constitutional reform process and the people of Jamaica decide, it's ironic in a way, because I was the one advocated that we should expand who can be in Parliament to not just Commonwealth citizens, but all Jamaican citizens, regardless, including U.S. People of dual U.S. nationality or other countries. And that's what kind of triggered some of this current furor. But now the Prime Minister is saying he agrees with that. He agrees that dual citizens should be allowed, but not me.
What about this argument? Because I've been hearing this argument that, because as you know, and they discussed it earlier, that if you're not in the Commonwealth and you have a dual citizenship for a country that's not in the Commonwealth, then you shouldn't be able, you're not allowed to be in Parliament, right? Now, what about this argument that due to the historical, the poor historical leadership that Jamaica has had over the years, I'm hearing this argument going around that people that are citizens of different countries like the US, Canada, so on, should be allowed to be able to be in Parliament and to run to be Prime Minister, etc., as well, because it expands the pool of intellectuals and leaders that can come with ideas from the first world and certain policies that are implemented in the first world and help to progress Jamaica, instead of the same people that live in Jamaica that aren't probably as traveled as and experienced in different first world politics, so to speak. What say you?
All right, Tristan, I'm going to answer this in a very political way. So you see, as long as the Constitution allows that, then I think it should be okay for them to allow other Jamaicans who have citizenship in another country to be a part of the political system by getting a chance to be elected in office and help to in leadership and have a lot of say in the country. Because of course, I mean, a lot of these people, when they are in foreign countries, I mean, they have been exposed to different style of leadership, exposed to more first world leadership where they say things have been done differently, and a lot of time they can go to Jamaica with their expertise and their ideas and help to put some of those things into our legislation and help to bring about some changes, So I mean, as long as the Constitution allows that, I think it shouldn't be a problem, But then I guess the issue is, do you think that the Constitution will ever allow that? I just think at the end of the day, as long as it can be a political game for either party. I think they're gonna use it to their advantage because at the end of the day, if it's a case where say the People's National Party should be elected in the next election, and this argument is come about them using other Jamaicans who are not necessarily a part of the Commonwealth. I think they're probably throw hot water in that argument, thinking that, you know what, we cannot allow that, you know. But I mean, the Constitution must allow that before we can go towards that direction, because it's gonna be within the confine of within the confine of the law, and it just gonna let it seems more equitable for the Jamaicans. So I mean, it has to be in the Constitution for that to go on.
Okay. All right. So I think we've expounded enough on this topic. Let's just see what will actually come out of it. I'm interested to see what will be the next turn of events. Will Mark Golding end up renouncing his British citizenship? But as far as we can see it right now, based on what we're hearing, as far as what the Jamaican Constitution allows, well, he said requires, but I don't know if it's allowed or required, whatever. But he's able to serve in Parliament as well as be Prime Minister, as long as he has a Commonwealth dual citizenship. So we'll see how it goes. So, anyways, let's switch gears. So, next topic, Carlos. Skate Pon Eh Toll. What's your take on this whole skate pon? Are you familiar with the skate Pon Eh Toll talk, and what's the background behind it?
All right, you see, I mean, the little that I'm seeing on Instagram and on all over the social media, I mean, I can speak about that because, you know, all right, you see, I guess, like, you know, this popular talk in Jamaica, right, and a man by a car, I must say, right, I make the car skate Pon Eh Toll, you know. So, like, you know, like, in the car, I'm on, I must say, one can't wait to skate Pon Eh Toll. I get what that mean, you know. So, I guess that, I mean, me recently to this talk, I'm gonna say right now, I was scared skate Pon Eh Toll, you know, I think so. But kind of I find it a bit laughable because, you know, when I compare the two, you know, like one the house is a appreciating asset and the car is a depreciating asset. So in the grand scheme of things, I mean, it's all fun, but I mean, when you look at it monetarily, you know, you can see where one own more weight, which is definitely the house. So. But I find the entire thing very laughable, though, Tristan, to be honest, you know. Just the whole skate Pon Eh Toll thing, you know.
Oh shit! Hold on. I was trying to find the I was actually trying to find the I guess it's on TikTok or something like that, where they're saying the guy was saying, "Yo, you think Oz can skate Pon Eh Toll?" So all right, so basically, um, there's a lot of people that they're purchasing a motor vehicle before they purchase a house, right? Now, I don't know about you, but when I was growing up, I always hear people say, "How you gonna buy a car you don't even have a house yet? You buy a car, you're still paying rent, right?" And
Yeah.
it's something that's been regurgitating over and over again. I mean, growing up, I grew up in Jamaica. A lot of people, they bought their houses through NHT. Some of the people, they inherited land and built their house or built on a family house. Some people actually built up house and capture land. Land, basically vacant land that nobody built on, and they just ended up building on there. And then I think after a certain amount of time, um, if nobody claims the land, there's some type of procedure to where, you know, you can get this land in your name. I don't know exactly how the laws are set up, but anyways, a lot of people, the first thing, from what I remember, a lot of people, the first thing they want to do is build up a house, you know. They want somewhere to lay their head to where they don't have to pay rent. However, as time changes and time passes, there's more people focused on purchasing a motor vehicle, and this is young people particularly purchasing a motor vehicle before they purchase a house. And a lot of people are bashing them to say, "Oh, that's a bad decision." But I mean, if you want to ask my perspective, Carlos, I think it's relative. You know, I think there's a situation where I can see purchasing a motor vehicle before purchasing a house makes sense, and vice versa. And that's because I think sometimes the situation where you purchase a motor vehicle, it will allow you to move back and forth and get certain jobs or certain type of employment or do certain type of business that will allow you to be flexible and basically get a certain level of income to where now you can go forward and purchase a house or build a house and so on. You understand? So I can see where it makes sense to purchase a car in a lot of situations. I think there's, for different folks, there's different strokes. And I can see in other situations where it might make sense for somebody to start building a house first, or, depending on their situation. I mean, all in all, I think as long as you're not purchasing a motor vehicle that is going to give you a ton load of problems to where you're going to be in the mechanic shop all the time spending a lot of money, or if you're not purchasing a certain type of luxury vehicle that's, might not take it to the mechanic shop all the time, but when you take it to the mechanic shop, it's going to be very expensive and probably above your pay grade. I think as long as you stay out of those realms, and the motor vehicle is actually helping you to have a certain level of convenience to do your business or to get to your employer, I don't think there's nothing wrong with it. What say you?
Well, Tristan, no, in the grand scheme of things, though, you see, I mean, everyone's situation is different, and as you said, like a lot of times where the idea of purchasing a car before I'm building a house or buying a house, I mean, it depends, because I mean, these days, car has become like a need. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're in America or in Jamaica, it becomes a need because especially if you're a young man and you start to work in the hotel industry or anywhere, and your commute is probably very long, or you have to reach at work at a specific time.
Or you work late to where, when you get
Exactly.
off
Or
work,
if you're,
yeah, it might not be any taxi service, or even if there is a taxi service, it might not be as safe.
yeah, it might not necessarily be as safe. So in that regards, I could see the reason why an individual would want to purchase a house before thinking about buying a car. And who knows? I mean, the person who actually go ahead and purchase a car, they might actually be thinking about buying a house, but they're actually getting their finance together because,
Right.
I mean, if you're gonna buy a house or build a house, trust me, in Jamaica to build a house, it takes a lot of money. I'm gonna tell you this, it takes a lot of money to build a house in Jamaica. And also to buy a house, that's another thing. Like to buy a house, you have to get your finances together because buying a house is probably gonna be one of the biggest purchase most people ever made in their life. So in that sense, I mean they want to plan for it. But on the other hand, no, I mean like if you're like not necessarily not predicament, or you're just a young man and you just want to get the car just to say, all right, you know what, I'm gonna skate the car and the toll, as what them say. Like in that case, if it's just a gyrate or or just to say, all right, I go get a beast or I get a Mark X and all them things. I think like really and truly, if that's the reason why you're just getting it just for that purpose, I mean, a young man's desire is always gonna be different versus somebody who's older. But I
Yeah.
think though, like a car, you cannot just view a car as just like want to get a car just to skate. Like you have to think about the intrinsic value of this item that you actually luxury item that you're getting. Because worse if you're gonna get the most luxurious car, you have to think about maintenance. You got to think about everything that comes along with this car. And if you spend your last on this car, and by spending your last on this car, you cannot do anything else. Worst, a lot of times these young men they purchase a car, they don't even have a driver's license. You know. So the thing is that like you are, yeah, it's factual, bro. It's factual. You know? It's factual, and I'm not trying to hate on anyone. Believe me. You know, I love to see like young people get in their cars, get whatever they have to get just to let themselves feel comfortable. But in the grand scheme of things, though, I just think like you want to get some things together. Don't just get the car because of the hype that surrounds it, because you might end up purchasing that car and then you cannot maintain that car, you cannot insure that car, and there are other things in your life that you could focus on, and invest more in that. And by investing more in that, you could reach to the point where you could buy multiple cars, use multiple cars for other purposes, you know. So I just think like, I mean, just don't just view the car for just the hype that surrounds it. But I think the car should be give more highlight when it becomes more of a need, you know. I don't get me wrong. I don't think I don't. I'm not saying that someone should only pursue something because it's necessary and need. A lot of times we need something because we want something because we want to feel comfortable getting it. It let us feel good when we get it, you know. So I understand that, but I would say if you could choose between the two, a car and building a house, and you could start pursuing building a house. I mean, especially if you're living somewhere already and you're paying rent and you're trying to get up the ladder, you know. I think you can move towards that direction, you know. Like this car thing, this car skating van tour, it just become like Tristan, I wanna share something with you. So in my community that I'm from, bro, like I remember the days when you could count the number of cars that are within that community. So the other day when I was in Jamaica, like right, because I mean, most people don't have like driveway. So when I was, bro, I cannot find parking in my community. I cannot find parking in front of my yard. Everywhere cars parked there. It's like I'm in New York. I'm serious. You cannot, cause a lot of cars are being skate on the toll. Like, cars everywhere. So that's it's different now, you know. So like I realize that Jamaica probably gonna need more roads in the long run because there's just too many cars, you know.
But
So
I guess my question is, are these guys really skating on the toll though? Because when I drive on the toll road in Jamaica, it's empty. You understand? Because nobody wants to pay that high ass toll, man. You understand?
yeah,
I mean, I don't mind paying it because I
yeah,
just want to get to where I'm going quickly. And I
yeah,
mean, I'm on vacation anyway. So,
yeah,
I mean, it's neither here or there for me. I know I'm not going to be paying it all the time. So I don't mind just like paying it, but at the
yeah,
price that it's at, right? The price that it's
yeah,
at for people to commute daily, paying that price back and forth daily, I understand why people don't want to pay to go on the toll, and that's why the toll road is always empty. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I think most of them are not actually skating on any toll, you know, Tristan. Don't get me wrong. We are not skating on any toll, man, honestly. Cause
Yeah.
one thing that you see, driving in Jamaica, in Jamaica, you realize that the road is so empty. Honestly, it is so empty. Not like like you're here and like you're driving and so like there are multiple cars, you know. So I mean, I'm not. No, they're not skating in the cars, man. That's what I want to just for hype, you know, and just
Yeah.
a young man having pleasure, you know, with the cars and everything. But kudos to them, though, you know. I mean, don't get me wrong, kudos to them. Have
No,
fun.
no, definitely, because I
Yeah,
don't, I don't, I think, and that's how like, even though Jamaica is still a third world country, um, in general, there's more people that are finding ways um, to attain wealth or a better living. Put it for lack of a for lack of a better word. Because when I was growing up, I mean, there wasn't that many young kids that could even afford a car. It's very few, very few. Most people that can afford a car are like older people that's been working for longer. But apparently, there's more young people that are able to afford motor vehicles now, and you see them driving up and down. And I mean, contrary to popular belief, I mean that they're not all scammers. You understand? A lot of them are working 9 to 5s and all that. But then again, I think a part of it also is the banking and the lending industry, the growth of the lending industry, because not all of these people are purchasing these vehicles cash. You know, a lot of them, they have a job, and or they have a source of income, and they take out a car on payment. So you know, it's getting very similar to how it is over here, to where you know most of these cars are being taken out on payments.
Yeah, which in a sense is a good thing, Tristan. It's actually a good thing because I remember when I was growing up, a lot of young man, well, they have a desire. Trust me, I one of them desire to get own a car, but then, that was probably the hardest thing back then because it's not like there are necessarily like a lot of banks that, like, I mean, banks are always like give you a loan to get a car, but it's not necessarily a case where everyone will actually be eligible for that. So in that
Right.
light, it was so hard. But now, I mean, like as I said, the credit system is probably more is not so rigorous in Jamaica anymore. It allows more Jamaicans to have access to credit. So in the sense that they can credit a vehicle and do their payments and everything. So I mean, it's actually a good direction. I just hope that, like, I mean, seeing that there are more cars on the road now, they probably need to do more need to do more continuous road development, because when there are more cars, there are gonna be more road users. Even though I don't see a lot of cars on the road still.
Yeah, I mean, these finance companies, they
Yeah.
want to make sure that they put more business on the books. You know, they increase the they increase the balance sheet with assets and receivables, and now technology has got more sophisticated with putting trackers on the cars, especially with GPS being a lot more reliable nowadays. If they need to repossess a car, it's not that difficult as it used to be back in the days, so yes, it's more risky by lending to more people, but then and also, then again, the risk of damaged goods, even though you might get it back from tracking it. But overall, it appears as if, with the negative aspect of it, when you have a bad customer, overall it seems to be generating more profit, and that's why we see this you know we see this continuing, basically.
Yeah. I mean, it's continuing because there's a benefit. There are always gonna. I think whenever these lenders give out these loans, Tristan. Of course, there always gonna be some of them that some people are gonna default on these loans, and they're not gonna necessarily be able to pay off for the cars and things. So they're already factoring all those things already. So I mean, it's working in the US. It's not working in Jamaica. I tell you what, Tristan. Like I kind of see like a lot of things in the US start replicating in Jamaica right now. Honestly, just the way things has been done and the lifestyle that have been adapted. I mean, I kind of see a lot of those traits in Jamaica right now. So, I mean, yeah. So it's not a bad thing. As long as, I mean, that there's just be responsible drivers and everything. That's the only thing I recommend. Be responsible when you drive and just don't skate. Don't skate on the tour. Drive
Just give
responsible.
it. All right,
Yeah.
so let's. We have a few more topics because we need to wrap up soon.
Yeah.
Let's delve into the whole Vybz Cartel versus Jamaica's justice system situation. Um, so apparently, for the audience that didn't know, Vybz Cartel, one of the most popular, or most famous dancehall artists in Jamaica. Uh, he was convicted, I believe it was 2011. Was it 2000? He was arrested 2011,
11.
right?
Yes.
And he was actually found guilty in, I believe, in 2013 or
I think
14. I don't remember.
I think it's 2014. It was
It
it
was
was
2014, right? He was found guilty of murder with I think like three other co-accused. One of them was Sean Storm, another notable dancehall artist, They had a very big movement back in the day, the Gaza movement. It's still big to this day. Still a very popular movement. Now, uh, Vybz Kartel initially went to the Court of Appeal in Jamaica, where he was unsuccessful sometime in between his conviction and now. And then this case got escalated to the Privy Council, which was all over the airwaves and the blogs and everything like that. Everybody was basically paying attention to it. The verdict from the Privy Council was somewhat in favor of Vybz Kartel, i.e., the defendant. However, it was with an asterisk. So, from what I understand from the situation, the verdict was that because of certain procedures that the prosecution carried out that were not, done appropriately, with all fairness to the defendant, their verdict was that the case should be quashed. However, he should not be released. They didn't require him to be released. What they did was they sent the case back to the Jamaican Court of Appeal for them to decide whether they want to build another case and retry him, right? Or just release him and be done with it. Now, it is in the case is now, or the decision, what the next step is now in the hands of the Jamaican. Do they call it what? Appellate court is what they call it, or the Court of
Yeah,
Appeal is that the other name for it?
yeah. It's appeal court, it's appellate court. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And currently, Vybz Kartel and his co-accused, it seems like they're in somewhat of a limbo, because we just can't find out what's the next step. We don't know if he's gonna have another case, right? And if that's the case, that they're gonna go, build the case over again. Is he eligible for bail? He might be eligible for bail, right? Or
Yes.
or are they gonna just throw the case out and be done with it? No, I think the issue is how long can the prosecute how long can the justice system, I'm not sure if it's the prosecution per se, it might be the prosecution that has some involvement, I'm assuming. How long can they detain these defendants without building the case again or moving forward with the case again? I think that's the question. And that's why Vybz Kartel's attorney, Mr. Isaac Buchanan, I think his name is, he filed a habeas corpus. Is that the right pronunciation, Carlos?
Yes, he filed an habeas corpus.
Right, which I think, from what I understand, it's basically some type of demand, or something similar to a demand, asking the court to move forward more quickly and speedily with whatever they're planning to do, instead of having him sit around in limbo. What do you think it will come of this case, Carlos?
Well, one thing I can say, you see, I mean, I want to say this: if when Vybz started, get a chance to be done with this process, I hope you get a chance to be done with this process. I think if you ever done with this process, like, you can make a lot of money from this case. Honestly, this is like a movie, because I'm talking about something that's been going around from 2011, and I mean, I cannot believe that today in 2024, the Vybz Kartel case is still one of the most popular and trendy topic that we have going on right now. Now, what I think will come out of this situation, I mean, it has a lot of different pieces to it, Tristan. Honestly, because you can see, at first they got convicted in 2011. They brought their case to the Jamaican appellate court. That was denied. Then they decided to move to the final appellate court, which is the Privy Council, and you see where the king the order to be quashed, and now it's back to the Jamaican appellate court for them to decide whether these whether these guys should, I mean, because they're no longer convict, whether they should be retried or should be set free. And now, based on the fact a lot of the issues surrounding the situation, it seems to me like the next direction that they're going to be taking is on June 14th. I think there's going to be a hearing. The hearing is going to begin for them to decide whether to decide what the direction that they should take. You know, so and I think like following that, then we will know what's going to be the direction. But I just think though, like the laws of Jamaica, especially in this situation, it's kind of very it's very peculiar, you know, because like to me, I want to say given that they are no longer a convict, I'm thinking that, you know what, seeing that they are no longer a convict and the conviction has been quashed, I'm thinking that they should be given bail, you know? They should be given bail. But you know what, I mean, there might be others on the prosecution end, they might be thinking otherwise, thinking that you know what, we don't necessarily want to grant bail, regardless of the fact that these guys are no longer a convict, you know. And that is why the lawyer, Mr. Isaac Buchanan, I think he knows the law, and he thinks that like it is in his best interest. He should go ahead and file an habeas corpus because he thinks that currently it is illegal for them to be held in as an inmate, given the fact that the conviction is being quashed, you know. So at this point in time, I just want that let the law take its course and do everything in its best interest. But I really do. I think they should be I think they should be given bail. That's what I think. They should be given bail because, and it's just because I'm not saying given bail and just be given bail based on the fact that they are no longer a convict. But it's, I mean, others might say otherwise though, you know. But I mean, that's just my take.
In my opinion, I think there's a very good chance that the prosecution will not have enough ammunition, for lack of a better word, to build a solid case
Right.
over again, enough to where it can convict him, you know. So I think that what the prosecution is attempting to do is drag this procedure out as long as possible, however means they're going to do it. I think that they're going to drag it all the way out to where they're gonna build the case again, right? And risk losing. I mean, it's not risk losing the case because you know the only way they can find him guilty is by doing it over again. And I think they're gonna drag it out before it starts, and then drag it while it's going on, so that at the end, when everything is concluded, um, the defendants will get so much time, will spend so much time in prison that they maybe not, they would have spent close enough to the initial sentence that they got. I think that's probably what's gonna come out of it.
No, which I mean, like, and again, this is Jamaica, where thing is just, I mean, it's just different because I think like in because of the nature of this case and it's Vybz Kartel, you know, because even though Vybz Kartel are co-accused, I mean that whenever this case has been mentioned, you're always going to hear them mention Vybz Kartel because he's a popular person in this situation, you know. But I think like if they are going to allow this case to be dragged out to the extent where these guys serve up to the close enough to the time that they have,
It's already close because if what they were arrested in 2011, it's 2014. No, it's been what 12, 13, 14. It's been like 13 years.
Yeah.
It's
13.
almost halfway through the sentence that the average person received. So it's already close, I would say.
It's kind of interesting, but I mean, you see, like this case Tristan is just like there are so many like different things to talk about this case and the direction that it might head, and you have and then again you have the court of public opinion, and you have a lot of lawyers out there who are trying to dissect this case and to see what they think about the situation and what they think might come out of it. But I just think that really and truly though with this case, I mean, if the law is equitable and it works in such a way where like if it really believes that these guys they should be tried again, and they go through a process and they got convicted, well, that's just how it goes. But on the other hand though, if they realize that they have nothing to reach on these guys, they should set them free. I just think that should be the case, because I mean a lot of people will say that if they have a new trial, I mean they will not be able to find any witness because the case is already compromised in light that the evidence has been plastered on the internet, and so many people have um, a lot of information, and everybody have their own opinion about Vybz Kartel and everything. So that will automatically let them think you be biased when it comes to the case. So when you factor in all those pieces, it kind of make this case be a very peculiar, because no one knows like what might be the situation if they get a retrial, or I hear that it could be a case where they have a judge only, um instead of having like witness. No, instead of having like not witness, what I'm referring to again, not the witness, it was the
Jury.
jury. Instead of having jury, then you'd have a judge only. But
Yeah.
if Carter's lawyer allowed them to have a judge only, I think they would only shoot themselves in the feet, because that's not gonna be pretty for them. So I don't think they will ever want that. So I mean, there's a lot about with
You
this
you
case.
mean the defendants wouldn't want that?
No, I don't think they would want that to have a judge only, because I think if you have a judge only, I don't think the judge is gonna say guilty.
No, yeah, I think with a judge only, because now your fate is resting on
Yeah,
one person's decision and one person's internal bias versus resting on 12 different people with different point of view and different personalities and different biases.
yeah,
I think anybody would rather have 12 people than one person. you know yeah, but it's a sticky situation. I'm interested to see where it's gonna head, but I'm just speaking based on how things have went so far. I think that this is going to be one of those situations to where they're gonna drag it as far as they possibly can. So, I mean, you know, I could see why his attorney or group of attorneys or their group of attorneys, would want things to move speedily, because at the end of the day, your fate is gonna be what your fate is, and when you're in prison for that long, you just wanna come out, especially um, if you're sick or you have illnesses that you're battling and stuff like that. You know, it don't matter if you're guilty or you're innocent. You're trying to get the hell out of there. You understand? So
but
yeah,
Tristan, is that like I mean the conviction has been quashed, so it is legal for them to apply for bail, and I think they can be given bail. I mean, it just depends on what the prosecution decides in this case, but it is not within the realm of the law for them to apply for bail. They can apply for bail now, because you cannot. That's based on my understanding. These guys are no longer convict. You know, so
right, right.
you know, I
Well,
mean, they can,
we'll see it work out. It's an ongoing case. This is probably one of the longest um, uh, This is probably one of the longest cases in dancehall history.
Or Jamaica.
Right, in Jamaican dancehall history. I mean, before that, it was Ninja Man. He had his legal issues in the past where he was held. Um, he was held for many years in lockup before his case was over, and he beat. I think he beat maybe like one or two cases back in the day.
Yeah.
And then the last one he was held for quite some time as well, and got released. I think he got bail, was on the street for quite some time, couple of years or so, and then ended up um, being found guilty when the case was over, even though he was on bail, and now he's back in there. So unfortunate situation, but at the end of the day, you know these guys are entertainers, and we love their music, and we hope for the best, but at the end of the day we can't determine their fate. So you know uh, you know hopefully the pendulum can swing in the right way, whichever way that might be. you know
Yeah, it's not all the time that the court of public opinion is that. So we have to set the law, and the judiciary system takes its course on this, act in the best interest. So
yeah.
yeah,
All right. So let's get off that topic. I'm sure that one's gonna be a topic that comes up again, because that seems to be an ongoing story, right?
yes,
So this is gonna be the final topic, and then we're gonna wrap it up. Let's just run through it real quick. So the state of dancehall music and is juggling back. So you brought this topic up earlier, and well, I'm just curious. What do you think about the dancehall music right now? I mean, I know we had the chopping era where it was a lot of chopping songs for quite some time, but it seems as if the chopping songs, they've kind of had a bit of a slow down momentum, and things are kind of changing. What say you? What is your perspective on the state of the music right now?
yeah. I think dancehall music has become a very interested place right now, in a sense that you see a lot of young talents coming to the forefront. There are not so many barriers as opposed to back then, where there are a lot of gatekeepers who will be holding back these talents who want to get exposure in the business. I mean, with social media and everything now in the mix, you realize it's very easy for us to have new talents now. And these new talents, they're really talented, because I listen to some of them. I wouldn't tell you that I know all of them, but I hear the names. I listen to the songs when I'm driving most of the times, because that's the only time when I get to really listen to music these days. And yeah, they have talent. I mean, but last year we have a slew of artists that came out on the forefront, and they were singing a lot about this. The chopping songs and all of that. You still hear artists every now and then start to sing about those things, but these days it's more like, I would say more party songs are like other songs you're hearing. But what I really kind of a concern about is it kind of divert from the whole um chopping songs. I think I hear a lot of songs about darkness. I'm not gonna say every artist are singing about darkness, but like I just think that there's too many darkness that I'm hearing about. Like there's an artist out there which like rate that artist, Connect Law. Connect Law is a very talented artist. Not gonna take anything away from him. That
Right.
guy is very, but I mean, he sings a lot about it's not always about darkness and all that. Don't get me wrong, he sings a lot of positive songs and everything. But I listen to Connect Law, but sometimes I always wish like, like, it just, everything does not necessarily have to be from a dark place, from a dark place, because if we really look into the idea of darkness, kind of connotates like not so a sociable kind of lifestyle. It kind of always connotating a kind of lifestyle where like you're locked away, with nobody. Just kind of give too much of that, as well, as if you're always like in this place where you're not really connected with anyone or so. So I'm not so likable of the dark concept though, So that's what the one, and it's not only Connect Law, not because I mentioned Connect Law name. There are other artists like, you hear the dark dark room. A lot of things are being sing about darkness. Everyone thinks about, most of them are singing about darkness. I don't know if it's a new trend these days to sing about darkness, but it's working, but not necessarily fond of it, I must say. But when it comes down to juggling though, I kind of see where like some sort of juggling is coming back on. I must say kudos to Russian who actually I think he actually back in the days there's this rhythm referred to it as a go-go. Was it Go-Go Club the name of that rhythm, Tristan? Because I get to understand that well, this rhythm now guess he did some remastering of that rhythm and make it and give it a name as the Dirty Money rhythm, and I see where like there were a slew of artists that these songs are not rhythm, and you see we have the advent of the Nige boy, very talented very talented guy, by the way, and it's been a while I haven't seen so many songs on one rhythm, so you see like juggling is back, and I think even Not Nice tried that, and a lot of other producers they tried that as well. So I mean, so it shows that like juggling can actually resurface, and that's a good thing, because back in the days when we were listening to the same Go-Go Club rhythm, or those rhythm back in the days when you have like artists, like when you have a number of artists and one rhythm, it makes you want to listen to songs, listen to the rhythm more, and you actually know the name of the rhythm, more. Tristan, you're in production, so you know exactly what I'm referring to, It makes you want to listen more, because at least when you hear one thing, you can at least say, all right, if you hear the Buja Banton and I don't forget the name of it, and I already know that it's probably a Terry Fabulous coming next, or the next artist coming next. It's the same thing that I see actually kind of resurface now, where on the Dirty Money, you probably know, it make you get to be more acquainted with most of the artists that are in the rhythm. And Russian also did it for another rhythm again. I see Ramesh is doing it as well. So I mean, it's overall a good look, in the sense that you get more collaboration on one rhythm. No longer you have. I'm not gonna say it's not still going on where an artist is saying that they're not gonna go on a rhythm because a certain person is on the rhythm, so they're not gonna perform on it. But these younger guys, I think they show more collaboration. They see where like most of them link up and they do them thing. It's like when I say, like, I'm not gonna say they're not. Some of them don't have a little beef or so, but I see more trust me, I see more unity amongst the younger artists. I'm not gonna lie. Hopefully they don't prove me wrong. So it's overall I would say refreshing. The industry is really refreshing right now. Back in then they talk about the kind of music where the trap songs not gonna work out. Probably that's probably a thing of the past now, because I've seen where like they probably get past that argument now, and some older artists who are actually saying that they don't want any the trap music now gonna work. Some of them are even delve on those on the rhythms and decided to sing a few songs, and it's actually there's actually a place for it, So overall, I would say the music is refreshing now. Not every topics are necessarily my topic, but it's doing something for this generation, and it's working out,
So overall, would you say that the music has gotten a little bit better, let's say since the past 6 to 8 months versus 2 years ago?
Well, if we're gonna say better in the sense of juggling, I would say yes. Better in the sense of more unity, I would say yes. Better in the sense of we getting let me see if what I want to put it. Are we getting a lot more happy songs? We're still getting songs about violence and everything, but we still. I just think that it just get better in the sense of juggling and more unity, and it seems like there is dancehall music is back, because we can have fun. I mean, don't get me wrong. There are a lot of rooms for improvement,
Yeah.
As I mentioned about the darkness, and I probably want to see a lot more songs that like they cater to the family as well, Because you know what I realized, Tristan, I think I was saying this like some time ago. I realized I was like, I try to listen to some songs, right? Very clean song, If I listen to like, why every time you listen to a song, you're like, you say, all right, gun on the seat, or get this song, get that. I mean, I say like sometimes the song so like, listen, like the song is so well done, but yet still something have to involve in like gun and get up on car seat, like like I just think like I mean, that's the way they write, you know. I mean, don't get me wrong, you know, they can continue doing it. You know, but I mean, if there should be some form of responsibility, whereas if you write your song for like if you for like if you have like your child listen to and you're playing something, it's not everything you necessarily want to hear your child listen to, you know. So like that's just you know like Busy Signal of this song when you say like Happy Birthday, my friend. I don't know if you and that song
Yeah,
is
I like that
just clean,
song. Yeah,
clean, but bro, that song is clean right through. So I can play that song on my
yeah,
child. There's not because I mean you have to be when you have a child it's different, you know. It's really different. So I mean, but
big up
overall,
Busy Signal, big song, big song.
big song, bro. You know, like
Yeah,
business business signal is like always a commercial artist, you know. Not gonna
yeah,
lie, a very commercial artist. So
yeah. No, definitely.
yeah,
Well, I mean, I guess we'll see how the music is going. It definitely seems as if it's taking a turn. Um, I don't hear that much chopping going on, which is kind of good because I think that you know it has its place, but after a while it gets played out. I think we should have fresh topics. I mean that people can sing about, and I think we should have a lot more happy songs, because I think the negative songs and the bad mind this and bust out boy head this, and I think too much of that no good. You understand? Like when I go to a party, I want to enjoy myself. I don't want to stand up in the car and screw up my face and what I mean, put on mean mugs and stuff like that. I want to go to the party and have some fun, dance, and have a good time. So the topic is very important. You want to have topics that promote um, enjoyment and togetherness and happiness and good vibes, for the most part. Everything has its place, but I mean, this whole heap of bad man, this and gun pan this and scamming and everything there. Too much of that. I mean? We need to water it down. The youths them need to take up them pen and start think outside of the box and write good songs. And it will work out, you know?
you know, Tristan, you see, the and it's not to bash anyone. You see, the scamming songs, I just think that really and truly they don't have any longevity. Because and the reason why I'm saying this is because if you think about it, like some songs that are probably are released in like latter part of 2020, 2021, and it's all about like scamming. If you realize, like to me, like those songs have they're probably like not so relevant right now. When I listen to those songs, I was like if you should play this song like probably the next 20 years, these younger kids, they're probably not gonna know what they're singing about. I'm gonna talk about people singing about like oil and rubber and all those kind of things. Like those things are probably like those things are like nonsense, bro. Like honestly, it's
So,
like
but I mean, yeah, I mean, to be honest, that what they're singing about, that's not just them singing about, You have to understand that what these guys are singing about is what they're experiencing in society, because these are the things that's happening in society right now. People are rub up with them aisle, people are scam, people are do this, people are do that. They're just singing about the things that are going on in society. So in a sense, it's not that you say you can't blame them, not to that extent, but I mean, they're not singing about fictional things. They're singing about things that's happening. So maybe if these things weren't really happening in society, then the lyrics would have been different for the most part. And I think that's a big part of it. Even though I can see where them singing about it will also influence people to commit to that lifestyle as well. So it's like a chicken and an egg, which one come first, because they both come after each other.
you see the thing though. What I realized though, you see that and with this glamorizing of Obi and all these things though, Tristan. You see, I mean, we all know that's something that's been around for forever, for years. So I mean, like these artists when they come about and they sing about these things, it's just like it did us mirroring what's going on in society. But for me, like you see, like when you have younger kids, they grow up thinking that you know what, nothing is going on, I think probably I should have a link on this lady first. She rub on this and rub on that. For me, like to me, it's more of the influence that the song itself bring, and the glamour of the idea of rubbing on oil and those things. And to me, like you don't necessarily have to give strength to those things, because at the end of the day, like the youths need to know are like other ways of exiting poverty and to deal with their life situation, rather than to think in some superficial way that, you know what, in order for me to get things done, this is what I need to do. All those things are just superstitious, So like for me, like the music does not necessarily have to drive superstition to that extent, where it let the impressionable minds to believe that this is the way of life, That's just my concern when it comes to that, though, regardless of the fact that they are mirroring society and what is going on, So that's how I look at it. But overall, though, they're doing their thing, They're doing their thing, It's fun to listen to some of those songs sometimes. Really fun. Because I'm here saying that what they're saying is not. I listen to the song, and that's why I can actually I can give my 2 cents about them. But I just think it's kind of going in a different direction now. Not so much scamming, not so much oil, not so much about other things. So like
So
the,
would you say juggling is back, or it's just it's making? Do you think it will ever come back, or do you think it's back?
you know what I'm thinking. I think I would say it's heading back towards that direction. I'm not gonna say it's necessarily back, because not every day you hear juggling rhythm. The reason why I say that it's heading towards that direction, because you can't remember the last time you think about a rhythm that was out and you have so many artists around the same rhythm, Like I think they attempted, but it didn't work. It didn't work, So like
I don't think it'll ever come back. And in my opinion, I think there'll always be juggling, like the Dirty Money rhythm and others, the Not Nice rhythm or whatever. There'll always be juggling, but I don't think it will have that foothold to where 90% of all the songs that come out are on a juggling like it used to be. I just don't see that happening again. I think there's too many independent artists that are using their own distribution, not having to work with an established producer, and finding their way into mainstream. There's too many independent producers as well, and composers that are doing their thing without having to go through this one big label or this one big producer or whatever it may be. They're distributing their own stuff, they're promoting it in their own ways, be it on the internet or in the street. And everybody's creating their own original beats that matches their style, versus having to jump on, this is the hot thing. I just think that it's not gonna get back there. We're gonna have some good juggling, don't get me wrong. It's not going anywhere, but I don't think it'll be as dominant as it was back in the day. It's just not gonna. So I say that to say I don't think juggling is coming back, even though it won't be gone.
Yeah, we might not necessarily get back to the point where it used to be. I see an attempt. Hopefully we can get there, but I just said like these new talents. A lot of them, they come out as like they can create beats, and they're already working with their own beat makers or whatever the team is. So they already have some people in their corner who can quickly make a rhythm for them. So they don't necessarily are always gonna be interested in going on a juggling beat. So I would say it just depends if they see like a rhythm out there where it's like a hot rhythm, and they see a lot of artists on that rhythm, they will say, alright, I probably wanna make an entry on that rhythm on it. Or some of them will decide, you know what, I'm gonna go on the rhythm regardless. If you know what I'm for company,
Yeah.
Like you see, I see someone man, I'll bad up producer and I tell them, you know what, me a company rhythm,
Authorize it.
Yeah, bro, it's like authorize start there. Trust me, like it's just that took over the entire internet, bro. Like man, no man, I go up on the radio, but they not then get authorized, So yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I mean, trust me. That's why I say I like my kind of like the young youths of these days. You know, I don't think they necessarily see themselves as enemy to another artist. That's one thing I realize. I don't know if I might be wrong, but I see a lot. Me see them the link. You know, say, you know, seem like it that serious. You know, because remember there was this Joshy and Silk bar situation, and then I think I said they even did a collaboration.
They bury the hatchet.
Yeah, and beef. I tell you, it wasn't even serious. It seemed like that beef was coming from anywhere. You know, like I know most beef that we say like serious beef, it actually start from somewhere. To me, it was more like trolling that leads to that. That form of beef. It wasn't serious, you know. Seems more manufactured to me, you know. So yeah, but it's kind of cool, bro. The way it is right now. Yeah. So,
All right. It was fun, guys. Just to touch back for those who just joined at this point in time. A couple topics that we discussed earlier was Mark Golding's citizenship controversy. We also discussed the saying that's going around about skate Pon Eh Toll. Open parentheses, close parentheses. Should a car or house be your first purchase, right? We also went over Vybz Kartel versus the Jamaica justice system update, as well as we discussed the state of dancehall music and whether juggling is back. Now, guys, this is the engine starting up. At some point, it's gonna warm up, so look out for more lives, and we'll definitely keep it in mind to be more consistent with the live, something that people can look forward to, and make sure we have some good, interesting topics to talk about each week. I want to thank everybody for tuning in, whether you're live right now or whether you're listening it after we're off. I want to big up yourself, give yourself a round of applause, and definitely hope to see you again. So I want to thank everybody that's involved. Carlos, big up yourself.
yeah, it's a pleasure, bro. It's always a pleasure, you know. I like what Tristan said. It's gonna continue, you know. Yeah, it's gonna be even better. So, thanks, guys.
Yeah, most definitely. So, until next time, guys. Bless up, and we'll see you guys again. All right. Blessings and protection. Cool.